5 years ago, almost exactly to the day, I was having coffee with a magazine editor in Santa Fe, New Mexico, regarding a healing property that I was going to open for women who were just coming out of treatment. And he told me about this woman in the community who was very prominent. She owned a big gallery, and she had struggled so long with being an alcoholic. And she refused to go to a 12-step meeting in the community. She just wasn't asking for any help. And he said he was amazed because she told him about this. She had been able to cobble together 9 months of sobriety through this organization that she learned about called She Recovers. And this is 2017. And at the time, I was 24 years sober, and I thought I had my arms wrapped around all the groups that were out there, but I had never heard of this. And he said, apparently it's 2 women in Canada that have put this thing together where they go on these retreats, and these like-minded and like-hearted women get together, and they decide that they are going to support one another and or are going to get a recovery coach. Well, I'd never really heard about that. So again, being 24 years sober, I was kind of like, well, I need to go check this out. So I thought for sure this would be a good referral source for this business I was building. So I went to New York City. Oh, wait, I went home, got online, and saw, oh my God, they're having a conference next week in New York City. I saw that they had this conference coming up in New York City. When I saw the speakers who were going to be there, Marianne Williamson, Glennon Doyle, Gabrielle Bernstein, Elizabeth Vargas, I had previously been a journalist and I loved her. And so I was kind of like, you know, I think I'm gonna go, even though it's sold out. So I booked a flight, I went to New York City, I went to the Conrad. I heard this roar come out of a ballroom and I was like, what the heck? So I went and I opened the doors, and wait, before I go on, I'm gonna give you a little backstory to put context to this. So as Dawn was saying, I was incredibly honored and privileged to have a front row seat in the global movement in the fight against breast cancer. I was one of the founding employees of Susan G. Komen for the Cure, the breast cancer organization. And for those of you who are too young to even know, or those of you who might not remember, back in the 80s, women who were diagnosed with breast cancer were truly maimed. They had radical mastectomies where they took away all their breast tissue, their chest wall, their lymph nodes, everything, and then they had to undergo months and months of radiation. And so they were maimed, and they hid in shame. We had no 1-800 numbers, we had no websites, we had no breast centers. Women had to go to different clinics throughout their treatment to get oncology, radiation, breast surgeon. You know, it was not very well organized, nor did it serve these women going through this huge trauma well at all. So I was there for, and also too, just a stat, which I think is super important, is back in those days, more women died from breast cancer than the total number of soldiers, US soldiers, that were killed in Vietnam annually. So that just shows you, it was a really hard time back then. Renee can share that, because that's where we got very close through all that work. But here's the good thing. You know, I had that front row seat, and 20 years later, I was there for 20 years and did all the marketing and the branding and the pink ribbon and the Race for the Cure and all that kind of wonderful thing. And 20 years later, we lit the Giza pyramids pink in Egypt for our first Race for the Cure. And that is when I decided, you know, my time is done. I've lit I've lit one of the 7 wonders of the world pink. I can go home now, you know, it's done. And so anyway, you know, again, I just go back to say that was an incredible experience for me because I literally had a front row seat in the global movement in the fight against breast cancer. So back to New York City. When I got to the hotel, I went to the ballroom, I opened the doors, it was 600 women wall to wall, arms extended, and they were just this celebratory joy, unlike I had seen in years. It was truly unimaginable, yet it was so familiar, because that's exactly what happened the day we brought breast cancer survivors together for the first time in one room in a ballroom. It was truly amazing. So I literally listened to of course I snuck in, and I'm sitting there and I'm hearing about this She Recovers coaching. And I'm like, well, gosh, I kind of want to do that. And so at the break, I went out and I started talking to Dr. Jean, who's sitting right here. And I was explaining to her my background, and I said, this is like amazing to me. I think this is the beginning of a true grassroots movement. And she said, well, I have to introduce you to Dawn and Taryn. And she's like pulling me, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I go and meet them, and sure enough, I just explained to them that my background, and I said, I have to tell y'all, because I'm from Texas, I have to tell y'all that you are on the precipice of a grassroots movement here. These women, this is the passion that you need to be able to start a true grassroots movement. And I knew that just like breast cancer, this was going to break the stigma and shame that was preventing so many women from seeking help. This was it. And I was committed. I said, I will do whatever you need me to do. If you ever decide you want to come to the US and start a nonprofit. And so it was a 3-year journey. So this is just an idea of, it was a 3-year journey to get our nonprofit status. I was able to reach out to my former colleague who's an attorney to help us just file all the information. It was a long process. We had to file a lot of information regarding what our mission and what our purpose was going to be. And yeah, it was pretty powerful over 3 years. What this organization, I'm going to just share with you briefly what we've been able to accomplish in those 2 years, because I think it will help you understand where we're going in the future. The first is what this organization has been able to accomplish in 2 years, and fueled by a global pandemic, and in spite of a global pandemic, is nothing short of monumental. So I just want to share our impact just this year, so within the past year. This is from 2021. So we provided, as you can see, more than 440,000 women online support 24/7. Isn't that amazing? This is really key. 2,100 hours of live virtual education and support group meetings. More than 50,000 women participated in those online meetings. We provided 18,560 women secure platforms within their local communities and the special population groups that Dawn just mentioned. So I want to take just a moment and thank our small but mighty team, which of course none of this would have been possible. I thank the universe daily for allowing me to work with such gifted, truly inspirational women who have taught me so much. So I'm going to ask my colleagues to please stand. Leanna, Elise, all my colleagues. I don't see anybody. Peyton. There's Leanna. Okay. Dara, Kelly. Yay. And if you all don't mind, I'm going to ask Lisa. Hi, Lisa, Katie, all our group that's not here that are running the back end of everything for us. Thank you so much. Again, I've learned so much from this amazing team. And most importantly, we have to thank our volunteers. Again, close to 50,000 women received online support on these Zoom gatherings that we've been hosting, and that is no small feat. These certified recovery coaches have volunteered their time to do this for us. But in addition to that, they not only volunteer their time to facilitate, guard, protect, provide this trauma-informed space online, we also have guardians and co-hosts at every meeting that protect the space and help facilitate the technological aspects of it. It takes quite a lot of people to do this. And I'm going to ask all of those who have volunteered to host our online gatherings or have volunteered their time to facilitate that to please stand. Stay standing, stay standing. I'm going to ask you, stay standing, and I'm going to ask all of you that are still seated, I want you to take your hands and let's rub them together. Let's create, I invite you to create an energy of love and appreciation. And now I invite you to cast that energy into the women in the room who are standing, who've made this possible. Deep bow of gratitude, my friends. Now, as you all know, to do what we were able to do, it was imperative that we raise money. Uh-oh, here comes the money part. After all, without money, we couldn't hire the talent to get the foundation up and running, put a sustainable structure in place, and strategize for future growth. We couldn't secure the technology needed to deliver our life-altering programs. Financial support was absolutely essential to our mission. Now, for some financial insight, I'm incredibly proud of our small, let me see if I can do this, small but mighty development team and all of those who supported our efforts. As you can see, you should see the pie chart. Good. As you can see, almost 40% of that money was raised through corporate donations and sponsorships. And I have to tell you, this is kind of an important fact that I want you all to know. I have yet to be turned down by a company or a corporation that I have approached for funding. Isn't that amazing? And it's because of our inclusiveness, because of our intentions and guiding principles. Our strategy has been to create really meaningful relationships with people who partner with us. That is not just giving us cash, getting on our website. It's all about providing us things like content and expertise and really to be able to deliver these things that you've seen in our Mental Health Mondays, that you'll start seeing in some of our workshops. All these things that we'll be presenting are being presented by organizations and companies that we've vetted, we've made sure that they align with our intentions and guiding principles, and we trust them. And they become our trusted resources. And that's where we want women to go. We want to be that trusted resource and that voice of reason for all women in or seeking recovery. So we're forming these deep, deep relationships with some amazing providers. And outside of that, of course, we have long-term partners like Hazelden and Betty Ford and Alcremase that have been with us for years. And we have our first cause marketing partner, dope, Kelsey. I mean, For those of you who don't understand, it's organizations like Kelsey that do cause marketing that extend our message of hope far beyond our reach, far beyond our reach. So Kelsey, deep bow of gratitude. You're gonna be a case study for so many people, and I'm so impressed with everything that you stand for. So I'm gonna ask real quickly for all of you in the room that are representing our partners and or our friends to please stand up. Our Friends program. Rachel, Lacey, up, 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 up. For all of you, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I encourage each of you to stop by their booths when you're here because they really are, they're playing an integral role in our ability to be able to provide you the resources we're providing you. Now, to touch briefly on the second largest stream of revenue, our mission program delivery. The category includes certification trainings for She Recovers coach designations and our more recent trauma-informed yoga teacher certification, our online Yoga with Taryn subscription, merchandise sales, and mission program events. I'm gonna share more about that in just a bit. But as you can see, individual gifts and grants made up less than 25% of our revenue. This category includes donations that were made in honor or memory of. It includes our Facebook fundraisers, our Unite to Ignite peer-to-peer fundraising campaign where people have created birthday parties and such, and grants. But needless to say, this will be an area of focus for us moving forward because, according to all the experts, all donations made to nonprofits, 71% comes from individuals. So as you can see, we have some room for improvement, and we'll be focusing on strengthening our efforts both with internal and external audiences this year. Now for what I'm most proud of, how did we spend that money? This is so exciting for me. Did you get it? Okay. So last year, our total operating costs were $711,000. I'm incredibly proud to report that 81 cents of every dollar went to support mission programs. Watchdog organizations like Charity Navigator look for between a 65 and an 85% mission spend ratio, and we were, as you can see, incredibly proud of what we were able to achieve at a very low cost. Again, we're a small but mighty team. Yeah, and I think, we forget that we're a public charity, so the public owns us, and we take that responsibility very, very seriously. So we do have, as one of our core values, I thought I'd just be able to share that, where am I? Integrity. Yeah, so my most important is that public trust and confidence in the stewardship of resources is critical to the achievement of our mission. And to simplify what it takes to run our organization, last year it cost close to $60,000 a month. That's $60,000 a month to provide what we offer today. No growth, no new programs, no improvements. But we've heard from you and others just like you that we aren't satisfied with status quo and remaining stagnant. And that's what Dawn and Taryn have asked me to share with you today. Just to give you one statistic that shows the power and momentum of this movement, the movement that each of you have fostered is that we are recognizing on average 1,300 women a month joining our platforms. And that's the one intention you have brought to light for us. Because of your voice, these women have heard us. They have found us, and they are coming to join us. I thank you for that. And as I said, we've heard you. The global pandemic has begun to subside, and the after effects continue to rise. Women have been screaming to take what we have created online into their communities and into real life. They want to connect in person in their local communities. And based on the call from our community, we're taking it to the streets. I wish Esther would sing for me. Where is she? I wanted Esther to break into song, but oh well. Our main strategic objective is to develop and roll out the Global Chapter Network. Now, this is not ladies who like to lunch. This is establishing substantive, stable, and sustainable chapters in communities around the world. This is a heavy lift, as so much needs to be built on the back end to be able to support this. Here's what I know. The foundation is garnering so much attention and support, especially from those in the behavioral health space, due to 3 major points of differentiation, and it's so powerful. The first is our intention and guiding principle about supporting recovery from all things, not just one specific area of recovery. That we support all the pathways to recovery and criticize none. And that our most important is being trauma-informed throughout all. Now, I think everybody knows that how much we focus on being trauma-informed and know that that's a big piece of actually every single thing we do. So it is part of our core values. And you can see here, this is a very visionary, very important core value to us, that we're committed. And we examine every aspect of our language programming, environments, and values to ensure we're trauma sensitivity, which I believe creates trust and inclusion. So unlike many peer-led groups, She Recovers is deeply committed to holding to this standard. And that's why, as you can see, it's been demonstrated by the way we host and hold our online gatherings. Our team and the board of directors, I'm going to ask the board to please stand. Mary Beth O'Connor, Kirsten Newkirk, and Shelley Dimitrijevic. She left? I don't know where she went. Thank you. So along with our board of directors, we created a strategic plan moving into our 2nd year. And we determined our strategic directives, tell me if this slide, yeah, would be to broaden our reach, cultivate and retain volunteers to provide boots on the ground, develop in-person support systems, strengthen online platforms, diversify our revenue streams, and streamline reporting processes and procedures. And that's super important because as a nonprofit, that allows us to measure our impact that we're making in communities so that we can share that with the people who have entrusted their dollars to us. So that's super important for us. So out of those strategic objectives came the following initiatives. Develop and roll out the Global Chapter Network. Is that up there? Yeah. Can't see. Okay. So our in-person community meetings, just like if you go to Recovery Dharma and they're called local sanghas, our in-person community meetings will be called She Recovers Sharing Circles. We built equity over the years with this name, and we don't want to lose it. It's powerful, and it really does convey what we're doing, right? So we are going to, that will be hosted, it will be absolutely replicated offline as it is online. So it will be very similar. And once again, it must be facilitated by a She Recovers certified professional to be able that we can ensure to our donors and to the clinicians that want to send their clients there, et cetera, that this is trauma held, and these people have been trained to hold this space. Because we want to be offering this to women in communities around the world, of course, we need more certified professionals. So you're going to see Leanna probably right back there. Please see her if any of you are interested in becoming a recovery coach and or a trauma-informed yoga instructor, because these are really going to be the boots in the communities doing our sanctioned She Recovers sharing circles. And we need to strengthen and diversify our revenue streams. So we have exciting things planned for that. We're going to expand Yoga with Taryn's subscription to include more of embodied movement. So it's going to include Peyton's dance. It's going to be, we're going to have some walking, meditation, just some embodied movement. How can women get in touch with their bodies, which has been so powerful, and of course move that trauma through. So we're very excited about that. We are also opening a fantastic shop. So we are offering, it's going to be amazing. We're going to have merchandise. We're going to be adding merchandise all the time, because we do feel that it's so in line with our mission of recovering out loud. I can't tell you how many times I just wear something She Recovers and I get asked, or, what is that all about? So we're very excited about that. And then we're creating a signature fundraising event, very similar to the way it's a fundraising, but more importantly, it's an awareness event. So it lets the community see how many women are affected, how many women relate to this, and there's nothing better than a visual. I remember when we created the Race for the Cure for Komen, and we had survivors, just so they understood, 1 in 8 women, we had survivors that would wear pink caps, and the media would come and take pictures, and it really brought it home. This is big. This is not, so I feel like our merchandise is just an extension of our mission program. And then our merchandise and the signature fundraising. So to make these possible, there are 2 significant things we must do. We must recruit, train, and retain volunteers, and we've got Elise Padilla, who's gonna help us do that. And she is fantastic. We're going to help us create that entire program, and we also need money. So let's just get to the point. So no beating around the bush. So I'm pleased to, I so badly wanted to wear that t-shirt that somebody was sharing last night. I thought that would be great. This shit ain't free. So I am really pleased to report that we've hired 2 brilliant nonprofit leaders skilled in establishing and working the mission delivery via local community organizations that are operating under a parent organization. And Kelly Zelinka, who's unable to be with us today, hopefully she's looking at us virtually, will be joining us next month to lead the chapter development work we'll be doing. We're going to be rolling out the application form if you're interested in creating a chapter. But like I said, just like starting a nonprofit, starting a chapter is not for the faint of heart. These chapters are going to be providing a meaningful impact in communities around the world. We used to always say at Komen, this is much more than the ladies who like to lunch, and I agree that that's true. So you'll see, because here's what the chapters are going to be asked to provide. They're going to be asked to provide connection and support. And this is our in real life She Recovers sharing circles. This could be our She Recovers trauma-informed yoga classes. This can be quite a bit at the local level. Empowerment and education programs, and this is where our certified professionals will be retained to provide resources and support in building one's recovery capital. There will be community outreach and advocacy. This is huge. This is for really getting the word out in the community that we exist. The signature fundraising and awareness events that I've discussed. And then more importantly is this community collaboration. One thing I've learned throughout my history in nonprofits is that we don't want to duplicate things. We want to, if somebody in the community is doing it really well, we don't want to duplicate the service. We want to offer something new and different, and that's what we'll be doing. So while we need volunteers for all things She Recovers, I think I didn't go there. There you go. For all things She Recovers, establishing a viable and sustainable She Recovers Foundation chapter will require the commitment and dedication of a core group of at least 4 active She Recovers volunteers in that community. Women and non-binary individuals who identify with women's communities are being called up to lead one of the world's fastest growing recovery movements. Women who are passionate about changing the way we talk about and support recovery in our local communities. Being of service is a spiritual practice for me, and being able to give back what I was so graciously given, well, there's nothing more powerful. This is such a meaningful way to be of service and will chart the course for the organization. If you're interested in starting a chapter in your community, please go to our website and click In Community on the navigation bar, and it will drop down and you can submit your contact information and the geographical area that you want to represent, and you'll be the first to receive the applications when we roll those out, which will probably be next month. And lastly, in direct response to the needs you've expressed and to accomplish these objectives, we need $1.1 million this year. That's an average operating budget of $89,000 a month. How can you help? Donate what you can, when you can. You can make a recurring gift that just will add up over time, which would be fantastic. You can do something in honor or memory of a loved one. You can fundraise through our Unite to Ignite or a Facebook birthday fundraiser. You can shop. And something that's not up there is you can help us identify others who might want to support our cause. Somebody that you know in your community that might be a business or an organization or an individual that if we developed a relationship with would want to support our mission. Okay, to wrap up, if you've been keeping up with us on social media, you're aware that this month we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary with the birthday campaign. To celebrate our birthday during this month of April, we're striving to raise $50,000 this month. We're at, as of today, 23 days in, we're at $4,350. So we're a little short. I am asking you to help us reach the $50,000 goal while we're here. So you'll be hearing each day where we are. Help us achieve and possibly exceed that goal. And if any of you, again, have leads, please let me know. Reach out to me personally, love it. As you can see, we've got an aggressive plan to take this organization to the next level, and we hope that each of you will want to have a seat on our bus. And to sum it all up, here's what you can do today. Sign up to volunteer, see Elise if you're interested in volunteering, see Elise in the marketplace. You can explore becoming a coach or trauma-informed yoga instructor by seeing Leanna in the marketplace. We've got 3 tables. And then if you are interested in starting a chapter, go to the website. And if you want to donate, of course, please go to She Recovers and click the donate button. In closing and on a personal note, I would just like to say that working with She Recovers has been one of the greatest privileges in my life. Being able to tie all my life experiences together, personal and professional, into something I am passionate about is truly amazing. And at my age, there are only so many marbles left in my jar of life. And now, each day I remove one. Stop. Each day I remove one must bring me joy. My wish for you is that every time you give so graciously of your time, talents, and treasures to She Recovers, that it brings you joy, that it enters you into the divine law of circulation, and that what you give to our organization and to the women we serve comes back threefold. I'd like to believe that we, She Recovers, adds marbles to your joy jar. and the jars of women around the world. More days to live life fully. As you know, this is our movement, this is our cause, and we will not stop until we have a world where all women in or seeking recovery are celebrated and supported. Thank you all.